Hello, in this video we will cover a Pear Deck demo. So we will show what the teacher side looks like and what a student side looks like during a live lesson. We will show 3 views during this video. The first view is the projector view, so what the students will be seeing in class either on the projector or the TV where the anonymous results are shared. The teacher dashboard view, so what the teacher will see from their side as far as the individual results and the controls on the teacher side for controlling the lesson. And the third view will be from a student view, or just one of the students in the live lesson. So let's dive in. Alright, so for this demo, it's the first day of class, and I want to open up a Google Slides presentation with my students and present information to the class, share the syllabus, but I also want to gather feedback from them. I want to learn about them, I want to have them answer some questions. So I'm going to use a Google Slides presentation with a Pear Deck live lesson to do that. I'm going to open my Google Slides presentation first, and I've already went through the slides and added these interactive Pear Deck questions. And I will show you how to do all of this in the tutorial videos later in this presentation. Now that our slides presentation is ready, we're ready to create the Schoology Pear Deck assignment. Again, I'm just providing a really quick overview of how to do this so you can kind of wrap your head around the entire process. I will show you these steps slowly in the upcoming tutorial videos, but it's a super easy process. Now we're going to link the desired presentation. And then you select the pace for the assignment, and we are going to choose Live Teacher Pace for this demo. Now we are ready to launch a presentation. Click on the assignment and then turn on your projector or TV. The students will join the presentation by clicking on the assignment in Schoology. You do not need this access code, and you can see how many students have joined in the bottom left corner. Open it in full screen mode to make it easier to view, and I'm opening my teacher dashboard on a separate device so I can move around the room and control the presentation, but it's not mandatory. I'll explain more in the tutorial videos. Now we're ready to rock and roll, and I'm going to slow it down a bit for the demo. Alright, so now I have everything open. I have the main screen open on the projector or TV for the students to see, and I also have my teacher dashboard open on my iPad, and I'm just waiting for all of my students to join. Alright, for my teacher dashboard, I can see that I have 2 students in the class. So all of my students are present, they're logged into the live lesson, we're ready to start. So I'm going to control my slides from my teacher dashboard. This on the screen, this view right here, is the projector screen. So again, this is what they're seeing in class where the anonymous results are going to show, but the slides will advance. And on the student side, which is on my iPhone, and I'm also showing you that screen as well, that's going to auto sync with what slide I'm on currently as the teacher in my teacher dashboard. So the students cannot flip through the presentation on their own or get ahead or get behind. Their device is going to auto sync with what you have on your screen, which is really nice to keep everyone on track. So I'm going to flip through the slides here as if I was in class, and some notes pop up there at the bottom and speaker notes. Okay, so I'm flipping through. Alright, I am on a slide that has an interactive question. It says, what do you like to do? So describe your hobbies and interests in the space provided. So I'm going to move this screen here, and I have one of 2 responses so far. So I'm going to click on Show Responses on my teacher dashboard. I'm going to click on Show Responses, and on the screen, Mr. Lewis is my second student. On the screen, on the projector view that the students will be seeing, they're going to see the anonymous results. But on my side, on the teacher dashboard, I can see specifically which students are answering which questions. And I can even provide feedback if I want to. So I'm going to click on Leave Feedback for Mr. Lewis here. That left me a very sweet note, and say, very sweet. Alright. Feedback. And on his side, that feedback will automatically pop up to where he can see that. Yeah, it looks like Mr. Lewis provided 2 different answers. So Huck Finn hasn't answered yet. He is going to say food, because who doesn't like food? Now I can see on my teacher dashboard that Huck Finn has provided his response. And on the main projector screen, the students will be able to see that as well, but of course you can see that it's anonymous. So I'm going to provide Huck Finn with some feedback and say, me too. Send that feedback. And on Huck's device, he now sees, oh, I have new feedback. So on his side, he can click on that and view my feedback and even mark as read. So on the teacher side, I can see that he found that feedback. So that's a great way if you're in class and you pose a question and a student answers it. It's anonymous, so they're not going to be embarrassed that they maybe got the question wrong. But on your side as the teacher, you can provide instant feedback to them without anyone else in the class knowing and help redirect their learning that way. All right, so we're done with that question. Let's say I want to lock screens. I don't want students to be able to change their answers because as you can see, Mr. Lewis was able to provide 2 different answers and change his answer. So I want to lock the screens. So once I pose the question students have answered, I'll lock it. That way they can't change their answers once we start to discuss it as a class. Because on the projector screen, I could go over here and say, let's look at these answers. Okay, and I could reteach at that point if necessary. So I don't want students changing their answers after they have them, unless you want to prompt them to do so, of course. So on the student side, which I'll show the screen as well, it's locked, so they can't answer any additional times for that question. Okay, I'm going to unlock the screens, and I'm going to have the responses for that slide, so it goes back to the slide view where the responses are not shown. And I want to go to, let's go down further in the line. How well do you like this lesson? So this is a great exit slip to include at the end of the lesson, and students can drag their dot to anywhere on the screen to show how they're feeling about the lesson. I'm going to drag Huck Finn's dot to green. And on the teacher dashboard, I want to show the class the results now. So I'm going to click on Show Responses from my teacher dashboard. And on the projector, the TV screen, you can see now that I have 2 dots appearing on the screen. So that 2 students have both enjoyed this lesson so far. There are different views from the teacher dashboard as well. You can do a list view, so you can see the responses for each student in a draggable or drawing type question. And again, you have those feedback features there. Or I can do an overlay, which is what is showing on the projector screen right now anyway for students to see. Right? So I'm going to scroll down to another slide here. I want students to answer this math problem for me. So I'm waiting for student responses. Huck Finn is going to answer this. He's going to work out his math here and write the response there. Okay, and on the teacher view, I can see my students answering in real time. So I can see each student as they write on the screen. I want to show these responses to the class so we could look at them as a class and discuss them and reteach if necessary. So I'm going to click on Show Responses, and we can see responses there. So there's response number 1 for student 1, 2, and again, this is in list layout right now. I can do an overlaid layout for the projector screen as well if I wish. And again, I can leave student feedback. Next slide. This is a matching terms slide. It was pulled from the World Languages subject area of the pre-made templates, which is very nice, and I'll show you those later in the tutorial videos. So on the student device, I'm going to answer this question. I'm going to use a pencil, and I'm going to draw, that is not correct, I just randomly drew a line from there. Okay, so there are my answers. And on the teacher dashboard, I can see in real time my students answering. I want to show these responses to the class on the projector screen, and there we go. So it looks like we both use red. If students use different colors, you would see those different colors as well. Next question. Fill in the blank with the appropriate word. And again, students can use a text tool on their side. So on Huck Finn's screen here, he can use a text tool to answer, or they can use a drawing feature to match the word from the word bank into the blank. Again, forgive me because I am just randomly doing this. I'm sure they're not correct. Show responses to the class. Talk about it, reteach if necessary. Provide feedback to individual students either via the teacher dashboard or in class, and then we're moving on. There's a translate question. This is a draw the atom. There's a Venn diagram. So let's say we're teaching and I get to a point in the class where I have a feeling that the students just aren't grasping what we were talking about, and I wanted to add an formative assessment question to see if they're actually grasping it. I can click on New Prompt down here and add any prompt that I would like. It automatically drops it into the presentation, and the students at that point can answer. So from Huck Finn's side, I'm going to answer the question, keep going, I understand, and I'm just waiting on Mr. Lewis's response. He's understanding it as well. So instantly, I'm able to gauge how every student in the class is feeling without having to have students raise their hand and maybe possibly be embarrassed because they're not understanding and they don't want to raise their hand and say anything, or calling on each student individually. So this is a very quick way to grasp that. If I see that I have a student that says, stop, I need help, I know that I need to stop at that point and go back and revisit something or reteach if necessary. So I love that the feature is there for you can drop in prompts just on the fly. Now let's say I'm finished with this presentation. It's the end of class. I want to go down to the three dots in the bottom right corner and I want to turn on student paced mode. And what this does, it puts it into a student paced mode so any student in the class that was not present that day for the live lesson can access the link later and complete this presentation on their own at their own pace. They can just flip through the sides. I don't have to sync them as the teacher or move on to the next. They can do that on their own. And of course, I can look at those results later as well. Putting an assignment into student paced mode also enables students to turn it in and receive an auto completion grade in the gradebook. You can of course manually enter grades in the gradebook if you wish and provide feedback on each student's response in the lesson at a later time. And students can easily access the slides and their responses at any time via the assignment or via their takeaway if you choose to send those at the end of the lesson. More on that in the tutorial videos later. But that's it. That's the end of this Pear Deck Lab demo. In the next few videos, I'm going to show you how to do all of the things as far as setting up your Pear Deck lessons, more information about how to use the teacher controls in the dashboard, providing student feedback, all of the good stuff that you need to know. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.